got to tell y'all about this thing called life. You know I got to share it. See, there's this thing called life. I got to tell y'all.
Okay, well, let's hop into the NDE. I want to hear about because I know you've shared some of it with me, but I want to hear about that story. Absolutely.
Okay, so I got my first daughter. I had her, and it went well, like the birth and everything. And but a week later, I'd gotten sick, and I had blood clots and stuff, and I had to have emergency surgery. That
Mm.
wasn't an NDE though. But fast forward to a few years later, I had my second daughter, Copper. Her name's Copper,
Oh.
and as soon as I gave birth to her, I was, you know, my dad's next to me. There's a the doctors and stuff. Well, the doctor goes to like hand me my baby. I couldn't lift up my arms. They felt real. I felt like a slug in the mud, is what I kept saying.
Wow.
Like I felt like I couldn't move, and I was trying to let them know that something wasn't right. That I'd already had another kid. That there's something wrong. Well, nobody really listened to me at first. Well, 2 or 3 hours later, I couldn't move. And I'm telling my dad, I said, Dad, something's really wrong with me. And about that time, my ex's uh, dad, he was a EMT or something at one point. He looked at my stats on my the machine, and my blood pressure had shot up like super high, like super high. And and I started hemorrhaging. I had 13 grapefruit-sized blood clots in my inside, from giving birth. And so uh, I'm bleeding out everywhere, all over the place. Like blood is not to be gross, but
No, no, you're good. You're good.
the doctor hasn't made it there yet, and well, the nurse, but at first was trying to be like, this is normal, and da da da. Well, all of a sudden, before the doctor gets there, this man walks in and he's in blue scrubs and he's got like his face covered. He's got the hat on. Nobody else is dressed like that, like just him. And he squeezes my hand, okay? And he's like, "You just gotta hang on. You gotta hang on." He's talking to me. And my dad's here crying over me. I can't say a word. I can't even talk at this
Mm.
point. My lips are turning blue. I'm basically about. They said if I had lost They said if the doctor didn't show up, which she runs in the room, she's got her pajamas on. She puts on rubber gloves and doesn't even put on anything else. And she actually ended up saving my life. But during that time, I this guy's squeezing my hand, but I fade out, right? Like
Wow.
everything I see goes black. And then all of a sudden there's these lights. And I explain it like this, like it's like there's these prism like lights all next to me. And I'm projecting forward towards a bright
Mm.
light, but it's far away. But as I'm projecting, there's all these lights next to me. They're just like, you're just like passing through this. And I went from being scared before to just peaceful, like
Wow.
the most peaceful feeling that you could ever imagine. Like, and I knew I was dying. I knew it. And and it's weird because right before I went into that tunnel experience, I like I levitated. Like it seemed like I could see myself from above, and I could see my dad crying. I could see the man holding my hand, and then I could see the nurses that were right here, and I could see the doctor come in, and and then all of a sudden that's when it went black or whatever. But fast forward to when she manually got rid of all those clots. She had to rupture them, and
Mm.
then I got two blood transfusions and stuff like that. Ended up, but um, whenever whenever I came back, I still felt that sluggish feeling, right? Like I just felt like I couldn't hardly talk or anything like that. And that guy was still there holding my hand until I was good. And whenever he saw I was good, he said, "Okay, you're good now," and he left the room and stuff like that. Well, I still couldn't speak. Well, a few hours later, I finally could talk again. Like I didn't like I could finally get words out. It was almost like I was like paralyzed or something for a
Mm.
minute. But they said like you shouldn't even be alive right now and stuff like that. And I said, who was that man that was holding my hand? I want to tell him thank you because he really kept me focused on staying fighting. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you gotta fight for your daughter. Like, who is this guy? How do I like? How does he know I have like two daughters?
Oh.
Because my oldest daughter wasn't there, and he was talking to me and stuff during that, during all of that, and my dad goes, "What guy are you talking about?" And I was like, "The guy that was standing next to you, Dad." And he was like, "There wasn't a guy standing next to you." And the nurse was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, you. There was no guy standing next to you." And I could tell she was like looking at me weird. I was like, I better not say nothing else because they'll probably put me in the psych ward or something. You know
Ah.
what I mean? But my dad, I believed him that there was no physical, and I knew immediately what that was. That was an angel that
Mm,
came to guide me through that experience of. He said, "You're not ready to leave it. You're going to be fine." Like, he was saying all the things that
mm,
you know. And so I never did mention it again. Ended up being sent to a town 5 hours away. I was in the hospital for like a week. I was really sick and stuff, but I got well and went home. Actually, on the 4th of July, Independence Day was the day I got to go home.
mm,
So anyhow, it was bizarre because a few weeks, or not even a few weeks, sorry, it was a few months after that, I was telling my cousin, and she had just had a baby. Maybe actually no, it was a year. It was a few years. It was a few years after that. I don't know why I said a few months, but it was a few years after that. I was telling my cousin about my experience because we were talking about spirituality and stuff. Because I woke up with a whole set of gifts that I didn't even know I had after my near death experience. But she told, when I was explaining to her what happened in the hospital, she said, "Don't say another word." She goes, "Let me explain this man to you." And she starts telling me, and and like it was so weird because a year after that, like I didn't meet her son. We weren't in that much contact at the time, so I didn't meet her son until he was one. But she had the same angel come to her when she was almost dying from having her son
oh
in the
wow.
hospital. And so like I drew him because I'm an artist as well. Like I kind of drew what he looked like from what I could see, and she says the same exact thing. And she said the same thing. She said, "Where's that guy at?" And they were like, "He's not. There's no guy in here. There's no guy in here." And he was
Wow.
wearing the same scrubs and everything. So I don't know if it's a familial, like an angel that's like an ancestor of ours or what.
Mm.
But she's a Scorpio. She's also a water sign, but we're a little bit of the black sheep of the family,
Oh.
you know. But uh, we're into spiritual things, but it was so bizarre to hear that confirmation because I almost wondered if I was crazy at that time.
Mm,
But after I got into spirituality, like seriously, when I woke up and I was in that hospital in Albuquerque, which is 5 hours away, like because um, I I had a lot of procedures I had to have done and stuff. I woke up one day there in the hospital and I was like, I need to go get my hands on a tarot deck. And I was always raised that that's wrong. You don't mess with tarot. And the message I got during sometimes whatever I was going through was that I was supposed to bring the light into the dark places because
mm,
you can use things for good and you can use things for bad and anything. And sometimes we're called to dark places, but we're supposed to bring our light. So my overall experience of like dying was that I was supposed to come back into the world and shine my light no matter what. Quit being scared, shy, quit being, afraid to uh, trust my intuition, I guess you could say, and just to embrace what I was being told every day. And so I try to tune into that every day and just see where I'm supposed to shine my light in the world or like how and my family probably has shunned me a little bit because of getting into tarot,
oh
but
wow.
at the same time they're starting to see what I meant by it. Like I'm bringing the good way about it. Like it's not the I'm not doing it to spy on people. It's to help people find their highest best path forward. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my whole experience.
No, no,
That's
no.
in a
Thank you.
nutshell.
Thank you so much for sharing. And
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is amazing, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever.